Welcome to the Behind the Art Inspiration podcast. In these special edition episodes of Radical Self Love interviews, I'll meet with co authors of the book and discuss their creative life hacks. But in this case, I'm going to check with Carol what they're called. But in this episode, I connect with photographer Carol Arscott, the author of Chapter 57, Living Your Purpose. I'm your host, Caroline Karp, filming from my Clearwater, Florida studio. Radical Self Love is the second in the series of Creative Lifebooks and acts as a guide on how to ignite your life through creativity. So, and I was speaking with Carol a little bit beforehand, and so I read her chapter in the book. First of all, welcome, Carol, to the podcast.
Thank you, Caroline. It's great to be here. I'm so excited. We just launched the book last week, so we're still on a high from that.
And tell me, so in all of my interviews where I was interviewing authors from book one, which this is book one, and I'm in book one, and Carol's in book two, and you can see it right behind her. It's kind of fun that it's there. I always said that we would discuss our creative life hacks. What is it that you guys discuss in book two?
So the theme of book two is radical self-love and how to achieve that through creativity.
Yeah, and so I read the foreword, and something I wrote down, which I really love, is self-love is a vibration, spaciousness, worthiness, allowance, and flow. Which, I mean, I love all of that, right? It's what my paintings are about, and I just like everything about it. And as I read your chapter, and yours was the first one I read, and I noticed that we are in the same chapter. So I'm chapter 57 in this book, and you're chapter 57 in that. So I feel very connected through that. And Carol is a pet photographer. And part of your story in the book was what brought you back to being behind the camera and what brings you so much joy. And that's, I'm assuming, your version of self-love.
Yeah. I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do in life. You go to college, you get the corporate job, you make the money and that sort of thing. But there was no joy in it. I was a project manager, which is a great profession, but I didn't feel a sense of purpose in it. It didn't light me up. And so what I did to relax and de-stress and bring joy into my life was to take pictures, and specifically pictures of dogs and cats. And I worked with local rescues to photograph the animals that needed to be adopted. And it was all I could think about 24/7. It's what brought me joy. It's what restored my soul. And I finally came to the realization, this is what I should be doing. This is, and I had started a business part-time in 2019, and then shut it down during the pandemic, and then restarted it in 2021. So I was doing photography on the side, but it was all I wanted to do. And it became clear to me that to really be true to myself and to show myself radical self-love, I needed to commit fully to that and put my all into it. And so that's where I am. I quit my job in January of this year and went full-time in my business and have never been happier.
That is so amazing. So great. And just being around dogs must just be so fulfilling. And so which breed is your favorite dog to photograph?
Oh, goodness. Oh, that, I love them all,
Yeah. Big
and I have
dogs, little dogs?
photographed. Yeah,
Huh?
I have photographed just about every different type of dog and size and personality and temperament, especially through my rescue work. I don't know. I mean, I love the big goofy dogs, with the fun expressions. I love the little tiny dogs because there's a lot more you can do with them. You can pose them in neat places. I love them all.
And what's really I'm going to mess this word up, serendipitous.
Mhm.
That did they say? Is that today? I mean, it might not be when everybody listens to this, but today is actually National Dog Day,
Yep.
right? And so we're talking about a pet photographer, and I don't only do pet portraits, but today I certainly did post my dog portraits that I've done.
Right.
One is a German Shepherd, the other is a Vizsla, Frankie the Golden Doodle, and my own pup Aria, who is a was a Black Lab Border Collie mix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it just is so interesting that we chose this day to meet and talk about all this.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that when I was choosing the date that it was National Dog Day. So it just kind of happened that way.
So
Happened the way it was supposed to, I guess.
it's a
In terms of
celebration.
favorite breed,
Yeah.
I guess I would say, I do have a soft spot for doodles of any kind. Both of my dogs are doodles. They're rescues. I have a Saint Berdoodle, Saint Bernard Poodle mix.
What does that look like?
Moby, come here, babes.
Oh my goodness, show me your dog, because I would love to have a dog on the
He
podcast.
usually gets on every call. Come on up, baby. Come on. Come on, you know the drill. Let's come on. Oh, he's trying. Come here. Come here, sweetheart.
Like, what makes him different?
He's being shy. There we go. Whoops.
So is he just massive?
He's got his bone right now, so he doesn't want to be on camera.
Is he just really big?
Yeah, he's giant.
But he doesn't have the coloring of a Saint Bernard.
No, he is all beige, tan, white-ish, beige, except for his beard. His beard's always dirty. And my other dog is a sheepadoodle. Come here, sweetheart. She's a Old English sheepdog poodle mix. There we go.
Aw, I love painting doodles.
I love photographing them. I just love them. They're so much fun.
And after this is over, I'm going to send you a photo of Frankie the Golden Doodle. He's actually quite famous now because of how much I've put him on social media. He lives in Rockville, Maryland.
Oh, wow.
And I have Sieva in here with me because she's afraid of the storm. However, I'm not going to put her in my lap because she's massive. She's my German Shepherd, and there's also she's on my Instagram profile today, so you could also look at her.
I will check her out for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the book. Mm-hmm. So I was always able to ask the authors what is their creative hack, mm-hmm. But it's different in this book. If you were interviewing yourself, what would that question be?
Well, so I think there still is a creative hack, even though we're not necessarily referring to it that way in this book. The hack, it's kind of a life hack. Do what you love, mm-hmm. For just to have a successful, fulfilling life, or to bring out your creativity. I mean, I love to look at paintings, but mm-hmm. I get very stressed if I try to paint because I'm not a painter. I don't have that skill set. So in that respect, I don't have any creativity when it comes to painting. But I love photographing dogs. So, I just follow my passion, and that's really the hack for my creativity and for just for my life in general. When and I've told this story before, but when I was in college, I was an economics major, and I took one photography class, and my photographer, because I love photography, and he hated everything I photographed. And he said, put the camera down. You don't have the talent for photography. Find a different hobby. And I put it down for many years, but the passion was still there, and it came back, and I picked it up, and I just followed, what I love. Mm-hmm. Because at the time I was, even in college, I was photographing animals. I had pet rabbits. I was photographing them. And, he thought that was not art. And even today, when I tell people what I do, they say, well, but what's your job? What do you mean pet photography? Is that really a thing? Yes, it is a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Tell me about, I'm assuming that somebody contacts you and you come up with the location
Mhm.
and then you're styling the photo. So tell me about the styling part of the photo. What are the elements besides the animal, or are you styling the animal? Like what is your creative process?
So basically, we pick a location that is special to them. So if the person and their companion animal have a spot that they always go to or that is meaningful to them, then we go to that place. If they don't have a particular spot, then I suggest some locations that that I think are really beautiful. But we can do the session basically anywhere. And so a lot of times I walk into an area that I've never been to before, and I just have to sort of look around and see what's interesting in the landscape, and we go from there. I generally don't use props except for my holiday sessions. I basically just want to show the dog being a dog, bring out their personality, show them in a natural environment doing their thing. So whether that's a running shot, posed shots, candid shots with their person, I like to get a lot of variety and just really show who that dog is.
Hmm. And you are sometimes the owner is in the painting. I mean in the photo.
I always encourage people to get in, and many people do not want to be photographed, and I can relate to that. I do not like to be in front of the camera. But one of my dogs passed away a few years ago, and the next day I was scrolling through my phone, and I thought there must be pictures of us together, and I had two blurry selfies. And I know better. I'm a photographer. Why didn't I ever get in any photos with him? And so that was just the most awful feeling. So I always encourage people just at least get in one or two. If you don't like them, you never have to look at it again. We'll delete it, whatever. But just get in one or two. In fact, I had one client that was adamant about not wanting to be in photos. So we were taking a break, and she was feeding her dog, giving him some treats and some water. And she didn't know, but I kept
Yeah.
taking pictures, and she didn't even know until the photo reveal. We got on a Zoom call together, and I showed her her images, and that was one of her favorite photos. It was a very real moment of tenderness between her and her dog. And there are lots of ways for owners to be in the photo without really being in the photo. We can do silhouettes. So if they don't want to have to worry about their hair or makeup or whatever, we do a nice silhouette shot. It could be, a hand shot holding the dog's paw. It could be the dog at the owner's feet. It could be the dog, the person holding the dog's head and shooting over their shoulder so that you get them, the dog gazing into their eyes. There's lots of different ways to do it if people are truly uncomfortable in front of the camera.
Mhm. Um, I love the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's not a day that goes by without my Google Photos showing me images of me with my dog Aria,
Mm-hmm.
because I would travel with her quite a bit and do live painting events. And she was such a good dog that she would always be with me. And I still post those images. I had to put her to sleep in March, just
Oh,
suddenly
oh, I'm sorry.
something came up with her, which anyway, so, but today I was writing a newsletter because it's National Dog Day. And I started telling the story of how I say, ever since she was a puppy, I would say good night, Miss Dukesies, right? And so I still do that. And what makes it, and this would be the same for somebody who has a photo of their pet.
Mm-hmm.
I did a portrait of her. And so I have it in a like a prominent location, this life size of her. And it was before, it was like when she was 5, you know, before I knew anything was going to happen to her. And I'm just so happy that I have that like living memory of her.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Yeah.
always encourage people, get photos way before you think you need to, because
Yeah.
people always think, oh, I have so much time. My dog is only, whatever age. But unfortunately, I get so many end of life requests. Someone finds out that their dog only has a week or two left.
Yes.
And so I always leave room in my schedule to be able to accommodate those, because obviously, we have to get those in quickly. And it's wonderful that we're able to have that opportunity and to get those photos, but it's not always the way you want to remember your dog. You want to remember them healthy and vibrant,
Yeah.
and the way that you knew them for most of their life. So I always say, just schedule an appointment. Let's get the photos done while they're
Yeah. Like people think it needs to be post, but it actually needs to be like when you can capture their expression at, the animal's finest, and when they're really, they're happy and joyful. And yeah, it's great. I mean, it must be so rewarding to do that as your business, like,
it's
right?
it feels unreal. It
Yeah.
really does. I mean, every day I wake up and I say, I cannot believe I get to do this for a living. It's wonderful. In fact, I just had a session 2 days ago, and the people were saying, "Oh, you have so much patience, and oh, you're working so hard, and you really put a lot of effort into getting my dog's pictures." And it was surprising to me because I said, I'm playing,
Yeah.
this is playtime for me. And it truly is. It does not feel like work. It's joyful. It's a stress reliever.
And that's radical self-love.
Yeah, I had to have enough faith to take that leap, to
Yes.
give up the job and the benefits and all of that, and see what happened. And it's just been a fantastic journey.
Where can people book you and learn more about you?
Sure. So my website is my name, www.carolarscott.com. I do travel. I go all over for sessions, which is a lot of fun. Um, I do private sessions around the holidays. I do sessions in pet stores and doggy bakeries and things like that. I also mentor other pet photographers. And in fact, I'm doing a workshop in January in Sedona, Arizona.
Oh, nice.
Amazing. You do not have to be a professional photographer to attend. Anyone that has a camera that can shoot in manual mode can come out. And we are going to spend 3 glorious days in the Red Rock photographing dogs, and it's from beginners to professionals. I'm partnering with my friend Val Woodward of For Real Life Photography. So we're going to kind of be splitting up the group depending on skill level, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
And where are you from?
I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so you're traveling, excuse me, to Sedona. Have you been to Sedona before?
Oh yes, I love
Okay.
it.
I have got to go there because everybody talks about Sedona. Like when you said Sedona, I was like, again.
Yeah, and in fact, actually, and part of what we're going to incorporate into this, which is going to make it a little different than some other photography workshops, we're going to be incorporating the topic of manifestation and how to manifest the life of your dreams. Because the
Yeah.
things that have happened to me in the last year and a half, um, I never would have imagined, but I was able to bring those things into my life and these opportunities. So I also coach not just creatives, but anyone on manifestation.
And all of that is in your website if people want to
Yes.
learn more. Perfect. And I'll put that in the show notes. And I want to thank you so much. I want to thank everybody, first of all, for watching and listening as I share my love of fun, connection, collaboration, and art. It would be great if you subscribe, being a facilitator of conversation. I pose an open ended question and I just let the conversation flow from there. And I want to thank you, Carol, for joining me today. It was so much fun and enlightening.
Thank
Um,
you. This has been wonderful.
and stay right there, but I'm going to hang up with everybody.